How's it going, guys? Today we're gonna be checking out all of the best decks for Genn and Baku after the latest patch. Spoiler alert, you're not gonna be seeing any top meta decks in here, but some of these definitely do work quite well, so technically a few of them are actually around tier 2. If you enjoy the content and like what I'm doing, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can hang me for some Hearthstone coaching. Now, let's check out the decks.
You are not prepared!
So far, the best deck with either Genn or Baku would be with Genn, and that would be even Warlock. Even Warlock was a great deck back in the day, and now it still has plenty of support, and you can be doing a lot of crazy things when you have access to so much card draw. This basically looks like the Wheel Warlock from not too long ago, and the nerf to the Forge of Wills actually is helping it remain in this deck. We have a decent amount of removal in the form of Defile, Drain Soul, Wing Welding, which can be absolutely broken if you combo it with something like Molten Giant or Fan Totem, and we also have Table Flip. In the ETC we also have things like Surgeris, Domino Effect, and Symphony of Sin, so that's also plenty of removal as well as something else. We can build quite a few big men with the help of things like Dark Ally Pact, which you can res back with the help of Endgame. We're also running the new Infernal, which can help you either drop a faster Molten Giant, or it can bring you back from a very low life. We also have Popgar in here, which is also pretty good. Loken is pretty nice in this one, because you can fish out some pretty big men, and your biggest man would be Fan but ain't nothing wrong with some 8/8s as well, so there's that too. Ziliax is the Unkilliax in here with the Poison Reborn nonsense, so yeah, you have the Virus module plus the Perfect module. And we also have Sheriff Barrowbrim, which you can again activate with the help of Infernal, even though with all of those hero powers you usually don't have too much problems on that front. Match-wise we don't really have much stats on these, and mulligan-wise here's what the stats show, but again it's really not that populated, so we're gonna go with the kept traits, see what people have been going for. Going first, Dark Ally Pact ain't bad. Mountain Giant can be pretty quick to drop, Elemental Geode ain't bad either. Depending on the matchup, Defile might work, the Thornveil might work, Drain Soul might be something, and even the location might make the cut, so yeah, choose accordingly. As for on the coin, the situation is not much different. Here the Mountain Giant becomes even more keepable because it's super easy to drop as soon as turn 3, is it? Nah, you still drop it as soon as turn 4, but you do have more options to do stuff, so there's that. Forge of Wills is still fine. Thornveil even better here. And again, depending on the matchup, Defile might be a keep, heck, even Table Flip might be a keep. On the number 2 spot, we also have Tempo Shaman, again, utilizing Genn. And this is a pretty cool concept, honestly. With the help of Genn, you get to basically have 1 mana totems, and you get to click that button as much as your heart desires. Basically looks kind of like the Nostalgia Shaman, but we're actually not running Nostalgia in this one, because obviously it's 5 mana. You also have the Sing-Along Buddy in here, so you can make your stuff wide. Conductivity is in here, so you can use some wonky things like Trusty Companion, I guess. Jam Session, that would, I guess, still work. You're gonna give everything +3 and deal 3 damage AoE, so the attack at least sticks. But is that the reason for Conductivity in here, really? Feels a little bit weird, but I guess it does make some sense. It's probably better to use it on Trusty Companion, though. It gives you tons of card draw that way. Backstage Bouncer is super good in this one, so you can make those measly totems into something a lot more usable. Galganet is in here because it's quite a good card. I guess Hearthstone Brew also gives you an alternative game plan. Horn of the Windlord ain't too bad. Basically has a control and offensive tool. Again, we have Ziliax in here, and this is going to be the +1/-1 module. And we also have Sea Giants, because you usually are going to have decently wide boards. Thing from below is obviously also a no-brainer, because you're going to be summoning a lot of 1-mana totems. Mulligan-wise, here's what people are keeping going first. And yeah, you want your good cheap totems. Trusty Companion might make the cut. Sing-Along Buddy could be a good keep as well. Thing from below ain't bad either. Flame Tongue Totem, sure, I guess I can see that happening. Cactus Cutter gives you some card draw. You're not forced to be playing the spell on the same turn, like just using this for the card draw ain't too bad either. And I'd say the Backstage Bouncer is also not a bad keep if you already have a decent curve at least. As for on the coin, the situation is not that much different. I would say your Backstage Bouncer becomes even more keepable here, like always keep, honestly. And the rest looks pretty similar. On the number 3 spot, we also have, again, Rainbow Death Knight. So, again, nothing but even decks so far. And all of these are above 50%, by the way. And here we have, basically, it says it's Rainbow Death Knight, but it's more of a Plague Decay than anything else, because you are running all of the good Plague cards, including Down with the Ship. Oh, wow, we're actually not running the 2-mana Plague Idiots? That sounds wrong. Like, why would we not do that? That, like, sounds very weird to me. we're not running it because it's a double Unholy Rune card, and this is a rainbow deck, so we gotta cut that for the rest guy, I guess. But I guess these things can be discovering some of those, so there's that too. We have a decent amount of control tools with things like Flint, like Frost Strike. We also have Threads of Despair, which is a super broken card still. Even though you can't combo it off with the 3 mana idiots in this one, you're still gonna be getting 1 mana hero power, so that helps you a bunch. You have a good amount of AoE, the Quartz Size Crushers in here doing pretty well. Sickly Grimwalker gives you a 5 mana poison charge idiot. Hearthstone Brew still ain't bad. The Headless, wow, that's a lot of legendaries at the end. But yeah, all around pretty decent stuff. And in the ETC we have a Viper, a Foam Render, and a Yogg. I guess the Yogg is gonna help you with all the wWLkgaXs out there, and you are running wWLkgaX yourself. Mulligan-wise, here's what people keep going first. You basically are gonna want some good curve in the form of good 2-drops. Helia obviously always is gonna be a keep. Instrument Deck ain't too bad for that card draw for weapons. Monpie ain't bad. And that's usually it, like get some good 2-drops to curve into a decent 4-drop. As for On the Coin, it's not that much different, honestly. Yeah, basically same stuff. I guess Remorseless Winter might also make the cut even higher here, because it would work well against the tokeny deck, so if you're expecting a board-centric deck, this might be the key. Moving down to some actual Baku decks. First we start off with this Baku Odin Warrior, and it's actually playable. I've actually even seen Baku Highlander Warrior. I actually lost to that thing, but this obviously is also doing somewhat well. It's actually sub 50%, I'm not gonna pretend it ain't. But it does have decent sample size, so I guess some people might enjoy taking a crack at it. And yeah, you basically have a lot of good armor gaining cards. We have Odin in here, Yogg, and we're using the twin module, perfect module Ziliax instead here. Obviously you can't run any even cards in here, so no ETC for you to cheat out some other cards. ETC is an even, so that ain't working. But yeah, we're running a bunch of the Rift package with Verse, with basically all of it, Bridge and Chorus Rift. This used to be a pretty good way to be running Odin Warrior back in the day. Some things that are working for this deck are the Trial by Fire got nerfed to 7, Odin got nerfed to 9, so that is actually kind of helping that deck. We also have Marin in here, which can be pretty nutty. But all around, it's, yeah, a lot of control tools and Odin at the end with a lot of armor gain. Mulligan-wise, people are holding on to these cards when going first. Dawncrier, obviously a no-brainer. Steam Guardian ain't bad, Bellwing Flame pretty good, Chorus Rift. Verse Rift if you're expecting some early game aggression. Odin could be a consideration, even though if you're expecting Dirty Rats against, you might want to drop that back into the deck. Fizzle might be okay, Bridge ain't too bad. And yeah, depending on the matchup, you're going to be keeping different things. Like if you're against the aggro, you want control tools. If you're against the control decks, you want to get Odin faster, so a bunch of card draw and whatnot. And on the coin, not much different, honestly, basically the same stuff. And lastly, we have Highlander Shopper Demon Hunter with Baku in it. And this deck was one of the first iterations of an odd deck when Baku came back. I tried the deck, it didn't feel amazingly amazing. It has a good amount of chip damage, it has a good amount of utility and whatnot, but it's just not as good as some other decks, obviously. It's also sub 50. But if you really want to be playing some odd even decks, this is one of the okay even decks out there. And you have the Highlander payoff with Reno, with Gunslinger, which honestly a lot of the times feels like an absolute whiff. Like a lot of the times the opponent just has a bunch of big minions in there and this doesn't even remove anything like that. It's very legendary heavy, so it is kind of fun, but it's just not super amazing. You have the Shopper in here. Obviously you can't be running the weapon with it though, so you only have an Eldrachi. You have a decent amount of early game, like tons of 1-drops. You have decent amount of removal with Remix Rhapsody, as well as Prison of Yogg, Yogg himself, Reno. And you can also discover a bunch with the help of Illidari Studies and such, but all around it's an okay deck, but nothing to write home about, honestly. As for on the cap traits, here's what it looks like. You basically want to be keeping probably just one of these good 1-drops, don't overkeep 1-drops. Gunslinger Kurtrus can be an okay keep. Sigil for extra card draw, Snake Eyes is not horrible, Overseer of Mysteries buys you some time. Illidari Studies can give you a bunch of card draw in the early turns. Depending on the opponent, you might consider keeping a Taste if you feel like you're gonna be having to remove a 1-drop or something. Card Grader could be good, so you can actually find some of those good cards. And Marin, I guess if you're curving into it, could also be a consideration. As for On the Coin, again, bunch of 1-drops at the top, Gunslinger still fine. And yeah, it really looks like the same thing. So that's basically it for all the good-ish Genn decks and Baku decks. Here's the list I showed you. Like, this one is actually 57% win rate with even Warlock. The Tempo Shaman is sitting at almost 54%. The Rainbow DK is above 50 as well, so that's something. And we also have a bunch of other decks at the bottom, like Spell Token Hunter with Genn. Apparently is somewhat playable, but under 50, so not that amazing. Mining Warlock also with Genn sounds pretty weird, and also the Hero Power Druid is an absolute whiff. As for the Baku decks, here's what it looks like. This is the one I showed you. Really not amazing, not gonna lie. Here's the Shopper Demon Hunter, also didn't feel super great. Highlander Pally with Baku, that makes no sense at all. And wow, I guess this is what I lost to. What a pile of nonsense. But no, the deck I actually lost to was a Genn Warrior with ETC and Reno in there. They had the Boom Boss and whatnot, so yeah, that was real weird. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope this video helps you find a good Baku or Genn deck you might want to be reliving this past era of Hearthstone. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can time for some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching, I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.